Hey everybody, I'm hoping that you can see me. I'm now home. I've already did my workout and all that good stuff. So this is kind of going to be just a little info on what I'm doing now. I hope you can hear me. I do have my AC going. I kind of look like I did a workout, so cool. So anyway, this is going to kind of sort of cover the basics of what I'm actually doing. I have not posted a video in, I think since Friday. If you want to go see that, go back and look at it. This past Wednesday on the 17th was mine and my husband's anniversary. So we went to North Carolina to go and just kind of do a few things. We got back yesterday. Yeah. We didn't go till Friday, Friday. No, I'm sorry. We left Saturday morning. So anyway, so this is going to be about my fitness, what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to stay on track and everything. So if you're ready, I'd also like to note that I am going to try to start getting into editing, learning what I can. That way I can actually insert a few things because, I understand that sometimes watching someone who doesn't edit their videos can be a tad aggravating, especially when there's other stuff going on. Which, for the most part, if I am videoing, it's going to be right here where I'm at with the AC. You may hear a dog bark because I do have 5. Or I may be walking, which might be in my neighborhood. It might be at a park. Okay, so anyway, let's get to it. First and foremost, let me go ahead and say that this, again, is my own, I guess you could say it's kind of like a personal vlog, however you want to call it. I'm not down with the lingo completely. What you see is I have a planner that I ended up getting off of Amazon. I will do my best to link it in the video, maybe in the first comment, something like that. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by anything because I'm still new to all of this. Okay, so my husband and I, we had a conversation. I was like, look, this is what I got to do. I had some testing done, and I'm going to go through that as well. I kind of did some basic testing, which I found out quite a bit that I guess you can say got some fire up under my mind. Okay, so let's just say that. So let's go through those numbers really fast. Okay, so I would show it to you, but it's just kind of again, no editing yet and things like that, so I'm just going to read them off. So obviously I'm 39. This was considered a core health test. It got done May 29th. Okay, so it's now June 22nd. Okay, so let's start with energy and metabolism. Okay, so we've got the cystatin, which is kidney function, which is at 0.49, which is low. And I can tell you what it says it should be. So it actually lets you know what is cystatin C, why is it important, how can I better understand it, things like that. So I am considered in the out of range, low. So in range is 0.53 to 1.01 milligrams per liter. Yeah, let's go with that. So I'm considered low. All right, so that's the cystatin C, which is again kidney function. My TSH was 1.88. Now, I'd like to say that this was 10 days after my cycle. So I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly where it should be. I do need to do a little more rabbit hole searching, things like that I typically do. So now this is your TSH is like a thyroid, things like that. So out of range is 0.45. In range is 0.45 to 5.33, and out of range would be like on the higher end. When I got my consult, I was told that this would be considered hypothyroidism. So, like I said, my personal reading was 1.88. Now, then I've got my hemoglobin A1C. And in previous videos, I explained that I was actually diagnosed diabetic when I was around 21 years of age. Again, I'm 39 now. And my hemoglobin A1C as of May 29th was 6.4. Okay. Now, for any of you that know anything about A1C, normally anything over 5.7 is considered pre-diabetic. Okay. However, on this test, it says low is anything lower than 3.8. In range is 3.8 to 5.8, and then out of range is 5.8 and higher. So I am considered pre-diabetic. All right, but no longer considered diabetic, so that's actually, kind of good for me. So obviously that would mean that my average glucose would be in the range of 138. Obviously that's kind of like a 3-month average, your hemoglobin A1C. All right, and then my morning cortisol was at 10.4, which is almost low. Now, I would also say that the test shows that the collection time was at 4:55 p.m. However, it was not. It was done that morning around, I'd say, between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., which is typically where it should be on the higher end, or just starting to decline, because your cortisol is what rises to wake you and things like that. Now, I could have that completely wrong. You will definitely have to do your own research again. And as I say that, let me go ahead and say this: none of what I say is medical advice of any kind. Okay, so I'm just trying to walk you through my own health journey, what I'm doing, what I'm going through. These are my test results. If you want to get your own, you can go and get your own test and see your own numbers. That way you can be your own advocate. You can just kind of go your own way. Okay, so like I said, my morning cortisol was at 10.4. Now, the ranges for that is, okay, so out of range, which is considered low, would be 2.3 or lower. In range is 2.3 all the way to 19.4. All right. Out of range is 19.4 and higher. Okay. Now, these are all based off of Cyfox Health, which is who I went through to get the testing. They were amazing. The person that did my reading and kind of explained everything to me was awesome. Okay. And this is also Dr. Josh Axe's company, from my understanding. Please don't quote me on that, but as far as I know, it's his company. He, sets out all this stuff up. So My triglyceride HDL ratio was 8.59, which I was told was bad. But I will give you the ranges. So out of range is basically 0. That's low. In range is 3.5 or greater, I believe. Greater than 3.5. Y'all, I've never been great at those little things. And then out of range is 3.5 or higher. Lord, y'all. I'm just, okay. So, I believe I said my range was 8.59. That was the ratio. Okay, so this right here is why, so from here down is why I got fire up under my behind. Okay, so just a little bit of backstory. If you want the whole backstory, you'll have to go back and watch some of the other videos. I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 16 years old. I always knew that I wanted to be a mom at some point. Again, as I've already stated in this video, I am 39. I will be 40 in August. Okay, so that's about a little less than 2 months away. So it's very important to me. That is my goal, or it's one of my goals. Okay, so this next part of the test, or next couple parts of this particular blood test. Now, I forgot to say that these are blood tests. Okay, was very emotional for me. It kind of put a couple things in perspective, and also, like I said, lit a fire under my behind. So, my high sensitivity CRP. Now, this is what basically lets people know what type of inflammation, how much inflammation, well, not really what type of inflammation, but how much inflammation is in your body. Now, from my understanding, I could be wrong, but this shows that there is inflammation all over my body. Okay, so my number was 4.14. All right, milligrams per liter. Now, everything that I watch with, like, Dr. Berry, Kelly Hogan, and a few others, they say that they like to see this below 1. And I'm at 4.114. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, so out of range, meaning low CRP, is C-reactive protein, from what my understanding, and that basically shows that there is inflammation in your body. All right, yeah, it says inflammation indicators. So, out of range alone is 0, which means very, very low inflammation. All right, in range is 3, and then out of range is above 3. Now, clearly, I'm above 3. So optimal, they say, is less than 1. Good range, meaning okay, would be 1 to 1.5. So clearly, y'all, I'm in a very, very scary space, right, with inflammation and everything. My homocysteine is at 7.84, which apparently is fair. Now, this is cardiovascular risk indicator. Now, it's basically your risk for cardiovascular events. It also says homocysteine is naturally produced sulfur-containing amino acid that is metabolized to create other essential compounds. Okay. Now, it's important because it can elevate cardiovascular risk through a mechanism that activates monocytes, a type of immune cell that promotes an inflammatory response. Y'all, I can't talk today. Okay, so like I said, my number is 7.84. The out of range is less than 5. Okay, that would be considered low. 5 to 15 is considered in range. All right, that's great. Then you've got out of range, which is 15 or higher. Okay, so optimal range is between 5 and 7. Those are the numbers on their website. And obviously, I'm between 7 and 9. All right. Now, this is what made me cry. Hooey. All right. So we've got estradiol. Estradiol was at 4. Sorry. I'm getting emotional already. So my estradiol, which is basically a sex hormone, was at 43.8. All right. Now, I have PCOS. All right. However, it is not an estrogen. I have low estrogen. Okay. So, estradiol is a type of estrogen hormone naturally produced by both males and females. Okay, so both women and men have estradiol. It regulates the cycle, plays a role in fertility and ovulation. And it can indicate the presence of PCOS. In males, this hormone is important for modulating libido, erectile dysfunction, and sperm synthesis. Okay, estradiol also operates beyond the reproductive system, including bone health and brain. All right. Now, like I said, my estradiol is at 43.8. Out of range, obviously, would be 0. Okay. In range is 517 or lower. Out of range would be 517 or higher. All right. Now, the health grade would optimal is 0 to 200. Okay. Good range is 25 to 40. All right. Fair would be 15 to 25. Some of these numbers are kind of hard to deal with, but I was told by the person that read off my results that I have very, very low estrogen, especially for someone who is wanting to have a child. So you can imagine how that felt to hear that. All right, so my FSH, which is considered, it's follicle stimulating hormone, okay? So this is what causes a woman to ovulate, okay? So it says 7.61, okay? So out of range is 1.79 or lower. In range is 1.79 to 113.59. Out of range is 113.59 or higher, which is considered, like I said, high. The good range is 1.79 to 113.59. And like I said, I'm at 7.61, which means I am on the very, very low end. Again, this was done 10 days after my cycle ended, okay? So I am going to have to look a little more into that. That might actually be great. I don't know. I'm going to have to look at it because I didn't even really think about that when she was reading this off to me. I was like, oh no, this is awful. My vitamin D was also very low. It was 31.95. They typically want that around 60. Ferritin. Now, this is why I've been feeling really, really tired. I've been feeling really kind of down in the dumps. It was 39 80.2. Okay. And they want it above 70. Okay. So that would explain the low energy, how I'm feeling, stuff like that. So, my HDL cholesterol, which is considered my good cholesterol, was at 27. The best range is 80 to 100. Okay. So my good cholesterol is very, very low. My LDL cholesterol, which is considered bad cholesterol, was in the optimal range. Optimal is between 40 to 90. I was at 87. But I am on the cusp of the bad. So my triglycerides were 232. The good range for them is between 30 and 70. My ApoA1 was at 94. ApoB or ApoB was at 93. They want it between 50 and 70. My LDL to HDL ratio was 3.2. That's a little on the high side. They prefer it between 0 and 2.5. So my VLDL was at 46.4. Apparently the best range for that is like 1 to 15. My total cholesterol HDL ratio was at 5.94. They like that 0 to 3.5. My total cholesterol is at 160.4, which is technically in the good range. The optimal range is 160 to 200. So, now, this is where it gets to the nitty gritty. So, again, I had a consult. They explained a lot of this to me. Let me get some of my water. Sorry about that. So, all of this, I was like, oh no. And then we got all the way down to like the metabolism and stuff like that, trying to explain. So this is where the basal metabolic rate and BMI and all that come in, right? Now, let me go ahead and say this. I am 5'5", okay? And at this particular time, I weighed somewhere around 246, I think. Right? Okay. So really quick. In about 2020, somewhere around October of 2020, that year that everything kind of went crazy, I weighed very, very close to 300 pounds. To be exact, I weighed 297.4 pounds. I decided that I was going to lose some weight. I immediately went on keto, and I lost weight so fast. I went all the way down 85 pounds, okay? Well, technically, I got down to 205. So 205 to 297 is 92 pounds. I lost 92 pounds. Then, the person who raised me passed away. And y'all, it was really hard. I stayed on it, but I was slipping, okay? I wasn't really what you'd say paying attention to my weight. I was just kind of going through the motions, right? So in 2022, my mother passed away. And y'all, I fell off the rails. Like, I think it was mostly because I try to be that strong person, or try to say, you know what? Nope, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm okay. When that's not always the case. So anyway, I got all the way back up to, I believe it was 255 when I last checked about, a couple months ago. All right. So in all honesty, I've still maintained almost a 50-pound weight loss. So I can say all day long, well, I gain weight, but I'm also trying to look at the positive side. So let me go ahead and say that if you've lost weight, right, but yet you gain some, and then you lose some, and then you gain some, and then you lose some, you still lost weight. Okay, so kudos to you, right? I'm so proud of you. Let me go ahead and be the one to tell you, I am so proud of you. It is so awesome to hear that too, right? And sometimes we don't get that cheer, right? Sometimes we don't hear any of that. Okay, so let me get to the good part of for me, it's kind of the only good part. But my basal metabolic rate apparently is actually really good for my height and weight. My basal metabolic rate was 1,820, might as well say 1,830 calories per day. So that means that my body, just at rest, not doing anything, not working out, nothing, will automatically burn 1,830 calories. That's without workout, without anything. So apparently that's great. Okay. Now, I would also like to note that literally before, matter of fact, I took this, I think it was like a day or two before I was done with carnivore, or I quit carnivore, right? So I'd been on carnivore for between 24 and 26 days when I took this test. Okay. Now, remember, just a little bit ago, I said that my hemoglobin A1C measured at 6.4. There is no telling what my A1C was in 2020. There was no telling what my A1C was 24 days before I took this test. But I will say that I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was between 20 and 21. And 6.4 is not considered diabetic. So you can take that and do what you want with it, okay? So anyway, that's a win for me. All right, the fact that y'all, I can't talk. I'm tired. My metabolic rate is actually fairly high for my height and weight. Okay, so I was told that was actually really good. And if I can actually eat at my maintenance calories and maintain, which let me go ahead and tell you, honestly, the past, I'd say month, maybe two, I lie. Y'all, it ain't even been a month. It feels like longer. I've not really, ever since I quit with carnivore at 26 days, I've not tracked anything. I've eaten off plan. I said it in my last video. I didn't really go off the rails, but I was not eating carnivore. I was not even eating keto, y'all. I'm not going to name everything that I was eating, because if you're coming here for information, and I don't want to be the person that mentions a food that may or may not derail you. I am not a moderator. Let's get that perfectly clear. I'm not a moderator, and I don't know if you are. If you are not, I hate to be a part of the group, but we are. Okay? So, anyway, so now I'm going to tell you my plan. So, let's, like I said, I have my test over here. So, if I look over here, that's why. So, my BMI at the time of this was 40.2. That sucks, right? So a good BMI for my age, all right, for my age and my height, would be between 18.5 and 24.9. Y'all, that's let's see, 6, might as well say 25, 35, woo, about 15 off, y'all. Lord. Okay, so it's okay, because we're going to get it done, right? All right, so my goal actually, all right, so real quick, financially, this was not bad, okay? I had to make 2 payments on this test. But let me tell you, that's actually not bad, because sometimes you can pay a buku of money for any blood test, all right? So, again, it is June 22nd. I talked to my husband. I was like, I'm starting. I'm doing it. Matter of fact, we were talking over the weekend. I was like, got to get this done, okay? So, I went on TDEEcalculator.net, all right? So, for anyone who wants to find out their calories, you can go on there. There's so many, like literally, you can type in TDEE calculator, and there's so many. All right, I just go to TDEEcalculator.net. All right, so you put in your age, your sex that you were born at, because hormones do play a role, y'all. Don't come at me. I apologize. You know, you got to think about hormones when you're working out, way you're eating, things like that. And let's be real. Males have an easier time of putting on muscle, losing weight, things like that. Y'all don't come at me. I'm not trying to offend anybody in any way, okay? So, my maintenance at 39 years of age, female, I put 245 pounds because last time I checked, that's what my weight was. I put 245 pounds at 5'5", and I put light exercise because sometimes I'm walking, sometimes I go to the gym. That is going to change as of today, but for now I just put light exercise. That way my calories are a little on the higher side because again, I do tend to undereat. At 40, I put 41% BMI because I couldn't remember the exact number. So my maintenance calories would be 2,456 calories with the 1 to 2 workouts per week. All right. Now, some people will tell you to look at the overall calories at the end of the week. All right. That would be 17,193 calories for maintenance. Okay. But let's go ahead and say, I personally am going on what's considered a cut. Okay. I have plenty of extra weight that I need to lose. Okay. I need to lose at least, I have a goal. Okay. And we'll discuss my goal. Okay. So let's just first go ahead and put this. Okay. So my ideal weight is considered between 125 and 132. Clearly, I am over 100 pounds overweight. Okay. So with a deficit, the ideal calorie deficit would be 1,956 calories. All right. So, real quick, there are many calorie calculators where you could do macros and all of that. I personally use Carb Manager. Okay, the free version is really easy. You can scan your food, and you know, most of the time you can go to grams, ounces, pounds, even all kinds of stuff. And like I said, the majority of things it will scan. So you literally, y'all, this is my Ox file, but I'm just going to show you. So you'll take the app, you'll scan the barcode, and it'll tell you what it is, all right? And then it'll have its own nutrition facts. So like macros, right? So we all know macros are carbs, fats, protein, okay? It also tracks fiber if you're into that, right? Again, I haven't told what diet I'm going to do. We'll get to that. But anyway, so I chose to do a high protein keto way of eating. All right. So I believe my carbs are set to 25 total. Okay. We don't do net around here. I don't do net. I do total. All right. Now, I also do not count the carbs that are in eggs. I don't count the carbs in meat. I only count the carbs of if I were to eat vegetables, that would be what I would count, okay? And some people don't count that, all right? Now to the fun part, all right? My protein is set at 171 grams, all right? That alone is kind of hard for me. Sometimes even getting to 100 is kind of hard. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. I will be supplementing my protein. I kind of got it, all right? Now, due to my test results and things like that, I am taking supplements, and I'm going to show those to you really, really quick because who knows? I mean, you may be out there and having some of the same issues, right? And I also checked with the person helping me with my consult. So I'm taking this. It's vitamin D with K2, and I've been told do not take vitamin D without K2, okay? So I was recommended, because I was so low, to take 2 of these per day. Now, I was only taking 1 because it's 5,000 IUIs. I was told to take 2, which reminds me I need to take these. So good thing we're talking about it, right? All right, so while I'm telling you about this, I'm gonna grab what I need. All right, so I take 2 of those. There's 2, okay? 2, and they're so small, y'all. You can't even see them because of my fingernails. All right, and then I was told that ferritin would help with my low ferritin. Now, I'm a firm believer that you get what you pay for, okay? But let's just go ahead and say sometimes you can't afford the best of the best, right? So this is a iron complex. It's by a very, very, very good company. I've heard about it from so many people. Again, I am not sponsored by anybody, but if you have iron issues, I would totally suggest that you go and try it out, right? If you don't see a difference, don't take it, right? I have noticed a little bit of a difference in my energy, straight up, right? So this is what I take. It's Thorne. I'm really hoping that you can see this. I really do. So this, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, it has vitamin C in it as well. You always know this. Again, I was told on consult, if you're taking ferritin or any type of iron supplement, you want to make sure that vitamin C is with it because it helps absorption. This has 15 milligrams of vitamin C. It also has 5 milligrams of vitamin B6. It has folate. It has glucosamine, salt, vitamin B12. And it also has, now this is what's important, it has ferritin, aka ferrose, y'all. I'm not going to say this perfectly, but it has 36 milligrams of the iron supplement. Now, I was told to take okay, this is where I kind of personally went on a little bit of a deep dive. Some people could take 65 milligrams once every other day. So what I did was I found a supplement that was half that, and I could take it every single day because it would also help me remember to take my other supplements. Now, thankfully, this I only have to take one capsule a day, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that because these are the supplements that I have not taken yet. I had to get up and go to the doctor's appointment. And y'all, I do not know if these are great brands. I know that sometimes you got to get what you can afford, and that's what I did. All right, so and I will also say that if you decide to get supplements, make sure they're third-party tested, okay? Third-party testing tests for metals, plastics, things like that, so you can always know that at the very least they are what they say they are. And you can literally go and look at what they tested for, what it has, what it doesn't have, and all that. So I was also told that, you know, omega-3 will help with TSH. It will help with estradiol. It will help with my hormones. Okay, so I went and got an omega-3 supplement. Okay, and this is by Arofum, Arofum. It is triple strength high purity, and it is third party tested. It tells you on it. Now, this was amazing. Okay, I got 300 soft gels. Okay, now you do have to take 4, but they're like this big. I will show you in just a second. There's 75 servings in this bag, y'all. It ain't even that big, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that. And again, you take four a day. Okay, you can split that up if you want, and you don't want to take it all at once. But y'all, my memory, I will say it was getting better on carnivore. Again, I'm about to get to what I'm gonna do. Memory was getting so much better. All right, now I will show you my other supplements that I will take, or I am going to start taking on a regular. Okay, now this one, I got to take one of these as well, and I'm going to be taking it at least twice a day. All right, it's berberine. All right, berberine helps with blood sugar. It also helps with the absorption of insulin, or not the absorption, y'all, I may be saying this wrong. It helps blunt the sugar spikes, okay? And being that my A1C is still at 6.4, I want to be really, really careful with what I'm doing, okay? So, twice a day, all right? Now, this is one that I will take from time to time. Okay, so let me go ahead and take these real fast while we're here, right? So these are the 4. Oh, I said I would show you. So these are the the omega-3s. Okay, so it's really not that big. Okay, it's really not. I'm gonna take these real quick, and then I'll tell you about the other supplement, and then I'll take the rest. All 4 at once. Okay, so the other supplement that I will take from time to time, and this is because I do have some digestive issues, and that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. Lower carb tends to do that, higher fat tends to do that, and just about any time that you go and change your diet, you will have digestive changes, okay? Some have like constipation, some have diarrhea. Y'all, I know it may be TMI, but you might as well know, right? There are so many different things that you can have, and what I would suggest is keep track of it, right? Keep what I did and what I have done and what I will be doing is I write down all of the bad, right? All of the things that I want to see change, okay? And then what you do is you keep track of those, keep track of those, keep track of those. Like when you eat something, you write down how you're feeling at that moment. Then you do like a self check-in 2 hours later. Okay? What do you have? How do you feel? How is your energy? Are you having stomach upset? Is anything else going on? Write it down, y'all. Okay? All right, so this is the other supplement that I personally will take if I'm having a higher fat meal. All right, I still have my gallbladder. I still have everything. I've not had any organs of any kind taken away. However, I was on metformin a while back, and I was on steroids as a child because I had asthma. I was always sick. I was always in the hospital, so I was on antibiotics often. And because I'm allergic to penicillin, most of the time I was also on steroids. Okay, so this is what I take. All right, it's ox bile salts, and I looked up, y'all. Let me go ahead and tell you really quick, okay? I don't take anything unless I've done the research. Like I've watched. Let me give you a quick rundown of who I am. I do not. Most of the time, I will not take a Tylenol. Okay? I've been to the doctor numerous times, and anyone who knows me personally knows this to be true. I don't like taking pills. I don't like taking medicines. I've went to the doctor, got hurt, and I was like, no thank you. They'll offer pain meds. No thank you. They'll offer other things. Do I absolutely need it? No? Okay. No thank you. Okay? So, I said all that to say this. These things work, okay? And they don't cause me issues, okay? But I said all that to say that if I take these, there is a good reason, okay? Because I don't like taking stuff. I do not. Also, let me say, y'all, sorry, itch. I would also like to say that there are certain diets where you should not need any of this. However, some of us need a little bit of a, might as well call it a crutch, right? Until your body gets where it needs to be. Okay. Also, if you eat seafood, you won't need these. But I personally don't eat seafood. Not really. Not on a normal enough basis, right? And again, these are just for upset stomach, right? Because again, TMI, I have a lot of stomach issues when I have high fat. Like, it goes straight through me, okay? Unless I do the Oxbow. All right, so let me go ahead and take these, and then we will get on everything else. So this is the iron, the D3K2, and the berberine. Which reminds me, I got to do my CGM, and I will do that while I'm on video. Why not, right? That iron, sorry y'all, that iron supplement does have a little bit of a funky taste. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, y'all, that face. Okay. So, to the fun part. Now, I want to say that I've been watching a lot of videos. All right. I've been watching people that are doing like 75 hard. I've watched Dr. Kim Berry. I've watched Nisha. I've watched Kelly Hogan, Karen Strollo. Y'all, there are so many and way too many to name. But a lot of the times I can be a type A. Okay, but then I also get very, very sidetracked. But I also get in these moments where if I post about something, I have this weird feeling that I need to be accountable. Okay, I've not been very self-accountable. I've not. I've let my own self down. Let's just call it like it is, right? So, what I did was I was watching Madison or Madeline Mack, I think. Anyway, she was doing her own little workouts, right? And she like worked really, really hard to be thin. Let me just go ahead and say, you go check her out, right? Because it was pretty cool, right? So just long story short, she worked to be thin. And then she realized that in order to get the muscles that she really, really wanted, she'd have to eat. She had to eat more and, lift heavy things. All right. So she actually put on muscle and was eating, I think at one point it was like 3,000 calories. And she's tiny. But she had a planner. Okay. She designed her own planner. And I do believe it was a fitness planner. I'm not sure if it had anything for like diet or, but I do know it had like a goal thing and all that. Now, this is not hers. okay? But I did go to look at her planner, and I was like, ooh, that's nice. And I was like, ooh, that would be cool, okay? So just to, y'all, it's not expensive. And again, this is on Amazon, and it is the cutest little thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. It says fitness planner, okay? I'm hoping you can see it. It has, so when you first open it, it says name, phone, email, social. If you found this, please be kind and return to. So it's got my name, it's got my phone number, my email, all that, okay? And then when you turn it, you have goals, okay? You write down your goals, and my goals are stay on my meal plan. All right, the start is 6/22, and I'm going to do it for 75 days. Okay. Your action plan to hit your goal. I put set reminders and plan ahead. Meal planning. All right. Goal number 2 is no dairy unless it is fermented. Okay. Starting, of course, today. And I'm going to do it for 75 days. Okay. I'm sure you're seeing a little bit of repetitiveness there, right? Okay. Your action plan, not have it in the house unless it is fermented. Another is get only fermented foods. I wonder if you're catching on to what's going on. All right, so after the goals, okay, and you've got two whole pages of that, and you've got up to 10 goals that you can set, right? Then you've got my exercises, and I imagine this is where you would write down like your favorite exercises. For now, I'm actually following a specific workout plan, but I'll explain that in a minute. So this is where you can track your progress. So this first one says weight, and it's got all the way up to 20 weeks. Okay, I'm not putting my weight because I didn't weigh this morning, even though I should have. But I did put in my BMI. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's right there. Okay, and then you have other things that you could track, and what you do is you write it down, and then it's got all the way up to 20 weeks. Okay. Then you've got a 6-month calendar, and then you've also got my starting point and results. So what you would do is you would put your starting photo here, and then your end photo here, and then you put your measurements. It does neck, shoulders, chest, bicep, waist, hips, thigh, calf, weight, body fat. Okay, so it says your start numbers, your goal, and I think on those, I personally wouldn't have a goal, but I'm sure somebody would be like an inch or 2, right? Depending on how long you're doing it. Because most workout plans tend to go anywhere from 4 weeks to 8 weeks to 10 weeks, 12 weeks even. All right, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of that, okay? So, now the rest of, well, actually, not the rest. Let me see. I lied. Actually, so the rest of the book, from what I know, aside from something that might be like notes or something, is your workout things. Okay, your fitness plan. Okay, so it's really cool looking. Hopefully you can see it. It's really hard to show. I keep forgetting that my thing that's holding me up you can't see. I am a ditz at heart, right? All right. So anyway. So this has date. It also has Sunday through Saturday in the the little dark box. It's got so what you would do is you would circle that. It's got weight, start, finish. I imagine that would be for time. Then you've got the workout names. So like for instance, bicep, shoulder, things like that. People do like push pull. They do full body. Things like that. So that would be the name of your workout. Then if you stretch, you got a little box there to check. Warm up, check. Cool down, check. Okay. Then you've got 1 through 12 a list of exercises where you would write. So if, for instance, you did leg raises, you'd write leg raise. Then you've got set 1 and then weights. So you would, if you did, on your first set, you did 8, you would put 8. And then if you held 30 pounds, you put 30 pounds up under that. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Then you've got a space for cardio. You've got 3 little slots that you put cardio. So let's say you walked, you would put walking, and then you would put the time, the distance that you went, the intensity that you did, and then the calories. Y'all already know that these wearables are not always correct, okay? But anyway, it's really in depth, y'all. And I think I paid $9 for this, maybe less. I don't know, but y'all, I'm loving it already. This morning, it did feel a little weird to carry around a pen and a book, but I thought about it, and through the times as I go on this journey, I can really look and see what progress I'm making, right? So anyway, this has my workout. See where I wrote things. All right, so this morning, and I will be doing basically full body, 7 days a week. I will be doing some sort of cardio or walking or rucking or whatever, also 7 days a week. So anyway, I put the time, put the date, I put full body. I did put that I stretched and I did a cool down. Okay. So again, full body. I did a squat with a bar. I did bench press with a bar. I did lat pull down, front raise, curls, bicep curls. I did tricep extension, leg raises, and single calf raises. Okay. I'm not going to go through the weight and all that because, you know, each person is going to be different. But I also did only 5 minutes of cardio because I only wanted to work out for 45 minutes. I'm going to keep smiling at you because I'm hoping that you can kind of catch on to what's going on. All right. So, I'm not even going to do a drum roll, y'all. But I can imagine that you've seen a little bit of a trend here. 75 days, 45 minutes. I am committing to 75-day hard. I am. June 22nd, 2026, I started 75 hard. My diet is going to be considered low carb / high protein keto. Minus dairy and gluten, aside from my fermented dairy with live cultures, which will be cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, and anything fermented. I will be doing sauerkraut, so very, very little veg, because if it's not fermented, I will not eat it, okay? So unless it's meat, or fermented veg, or fermented dairy, I will not be eating it. I will be drinking an entire gallon of water per day. All right. There are people on here that do 75 hard, and a lot of times they're adding things to their water. I went on to Andy Frisella's site, and it states that it has to be plain water. Now, I do assume that he probably added electrolytes, which is what I did. However, they are unflavored, no sweeteners of any kind, but I did not add like protein or anything like that because you cannot count that. Now, I also recognize that there are people on YouTube that add things to their water. Madeline, the person I was telling you about, was one of those. She added some flavored something to one of her waters. Now, I'm not 100% sure if she was doing 75 hard at that time. I think she said she was, but don't call me on it. But let me just go ahead and say that the true 75 hard, you cannot have flavors, sweeteners, things like that in your water. Your coffee does not count as your water. Your protein shake does not count as your water. Water counts as your water. Okay? That's it. So, if you want to have coffee, that's cool, but that does not count towards your gallon amount of water. So that means that you have to drink a gallon of water plus your 1 or 2 cups of coffee if you so choose. If you have a protein shake to be a supplement, that would be your gallon of water plus however many protein shakes you have. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? So that is my diet. That is what I'm doing to stay accountable and on track. I do have the 75 Hard app to keep me accountable. I also spoke with my husband. I was like, this is what it is. I need this. I need a reminder. All right. I am working out twice a day. The workouts, you have to have at least one outdoors. All right. One can be indoors, one can be outdoors, but one absolutely has to be outdoors, which means that you need to pay attention to the weather. Okay? They have to be at least 3 hours apart. You have to read at least 10 pages. I have 3 books here, all of which are by Dr. Mindy Pelz. I am going to be reading them because I need to get my hormone stuff under check, right? You have to read at least 10 pages of a self-help book, okay? Something that is real, something with learning, stuff like that. You cannot read things like Harry Potter and 50 Shades of Grey and all these other things. Y'all, they're great books, yes, but rules are rules when it comes to a program. You cannot sit here and say that you've done 75 hard if you did not follow the program. If you changed only even one thing, even half a thing, like say you only read 5 pages and not 10, you did not complete the challenge. Because if you get to 11 o'clock at night and you are about to go to bed and you did not do your workout, you got to start over. If you get to 11 o'clock at night, it's time for bed, and you did not do your 10 pages, you failed. If you get to bedtime and you did not drink all your water, even 1 ounce short of a gallon, you failed. And you got to start from day 1. Y'all, I'm ready. I'm excited. So that's what's going on right now. It is day 1. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat anything. Okay, if I fail, I will let you know. All right. It's gonna suck if I do, but my goal from here on out is to be consistent. I'm going to post at least once a day. Okay. A lot of times I do post a short before I post a video. All right. Again, I know sometimes I say, well, I want a video in the gym and this, that, and other, but I really don't feel very comfortable about that, because let me go ahead and say that if someone was videoing while I was working out and I saw it, I would feel very uncomfortable. And I don't want to make anyone else feel uncomfortable in the gym, okay? So there may be times where if no one's around me, you might get a piece of my workout. You might not. You might get me right after the workout. You might get me on my second workout on my walk. You might get me hanging out with my husband. You might, either way, as long as I post at least once a day, that is my goal. Okay? I can't really think of anything else. I am using a 40-ounce tumbler by Ice Shaker. Y'all, again, I'm not sponsored by anything, but if you, it is amazing. If you want a good tumbler that will keep your stuff cold, this is it. It is. Y'all, I got a Stanley. I got a Yeti. This is my everyday right here, okay? I'm not knocking nobody. But this is amazing. It is like, no leak. No leak. I can shake it. And another cool thing is this part right here comes out. It is dishwasher safe. I'm not even going to try to take it because, y'all, my husband is really good at doing it. There is a way to take it out. I don't know. But it also has this little shaker thing. I'm showing y'all because, look, if y'all get on this, y'all can comment and we can do it together. So if you like fruit in your water, stuff like that, it also has this little thing right here where you can put fruit inside. It's got a steel straw, which I love. And it's got markers on the inside if you want to keep track. I just fill it to the brim, okay? Most of the time it's more than 40. So, I'm not even mad at it. But anyway, I will have to drink at least three of these. And then I'm going to shoot for at least 3.5 because a whole gallon is 128 ounces of water. All right. 3 of these is 120. So I'm going to do 3 of these plus about a half. And I've kind of gotten to where I cannot drink coffee, even though I love coffee, because I'm not putting fermented dairy in my coffee. Absolutely not. I can't do it. I don't think that'd be great. Look, if you like that, cool, by all means. So I think that's about it. I think I've covered everything. I've said what I'm going to eat. I've explained workouts. I've explained measurements. Y'all, I actually think I did really good. I'm quite proud of myself. This is actually the longest video I believe I've ever done. And honestly, I really hope that you stuck it out. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really hope that you follow my journey. I hope that you enjoy what you see. This is going to be embarrassing, but I am going to stand up so you can see what I look like. So I do got some weight on me. It's embarrassing, but I do have belly. I'm not pulling it down, so that is awful. I don't want to do that. It's embarrassing, but that is what it is, okay? I'm going to be real here, right? Because if I can't, when I do reach my results, you're not even going to know how big of a change it was. Oh, gosh, excuse me. Like I said, real and unedited. I apologize. If I don't show the nasty and dirty parts, or not really nasty and dirty, but uncomfortable parts, right? You're not going to know where I came from. You're not going to know where I've been and how much I did, right? And I strongly suggest that you do the same. If you decide that you want to go on a journey, make sure that you take measurements, all right? Don't always depend on the scale. Please don't always depend on the scale, all right? There are people out there that'll say muscle weighs more than fat. There are people out there that will tell you to weigh yourself every day. And let me be clear. 1 pound is 1 pound. 1 pound of fat weighs the same as 1 pound of muscle. The difference is muscle takes up less space. Okay? One does not weigh more than the other. 1 pound is 1 pound. Okay? Let's just get that off the table. So you want to gain muscle, you want to lose fat. That is how you will look your best, okay? Not only that, it helps with longevity, it helps with aging, it helps with, well, everything, right? So, I am Nicole, and y'all, I'm excited. I hope you are. And if you would like to join me, that would be amazing, okay? I also have a community where apparently people can talk to me, they can comment. I'm hoping that I can go a little further on this whole thing, and you all can just kind of follow me, and hopefully it'll go as far as it'll go, right? I'm gonna do my best, y'all. I'm not out here to make a whole bunch of money. I'm not making any, so at least not with this. So I'm just here because I want to be here, okay? And again, I hope that you like the videos. I hope that you like the content. If you'd like to see something else, or even if you want to know something else, just comment on one of the videos. Ask. I'll let you know. There are going to be certain things that I'm not gonna entertain, and anyone should know the boundaries. But if it pertains to anything that I've said on my channel, I have no problem answering those questions. But for now, I will talk to you all later. I'm going for my walk at 3 p.m., which is a little more than 30 minutes from now. I may go and do a video for you guys. I can't go live yet. I've got to get to so many likes and so many subscribers rather. I also have an Instagram. You can go and request to follow me. I don't have it public just because, right now, you know how that goes these days. Sometimes you got these weird profiles. It's also Nicole for Healing. So if you'd like to follow me, cool. Go over there, request, and I will do my best to accept. Again, I really hope you all have a wonderful day. If you're working out, get it. Lift heavy, y'all. Seriously. And if you're on a plan, keep at it. If you want an accountability partner, write me. Let's do this. You guys have a good day.